Delighted to say I'm being joined by Kerry footballer Stephen O'Brien. Stephen, it's been obviously a weird time at the moment. You're probably on lunch break or something like that at the moment. How's life going for you at the moment?
Yeah. It's been obviously recent times for everyone. Yeah. I'm still at work. Yeah, so that's probably been a positive for me anyway. That we're seen as essential staff, so and we have to be on site. So because we're reason to get out of the house every day anyway. So yeah, I'm on lunch break now, so trying to keep the head down out here in the car.
Right. Has it been weird for you, like not training collectively? How have you adapted to life doing probably just individual sessions over and over?
Yeah, it's definitely been a huge change. I suppose your whole life you've always been meeting at 7 o'clock on Tuesday or wherever it is. Um, it kind of reminds me of like we say, you're going back, you're back training. Maybe you're starting the end of December, like so you might just get the body moving there, kind of end of October, start November. Just do your own sessions. So that's what it's kind of been like. But I suppose when you're doing that, you always have the light at the end of the tunnel. You have a target. You're back on whatever date, and so it's very much moving goalposts at the moment. So that's probably the difficult thing.
And in terms of the family and all that, it's strange for everyone they can't go home. What's that been like for you, or do you actually live at home? And
No, I'm living above in Cork, yeah, and so yeah, that's been difficult. Like, I suppose I'd be traveling down a lot for training, obviously, and at the most weekends I'd probably go home. If we were probably training on a Saturday, I'd head home back to Kenmare. So I haven't been able to do that really. So I haven't been home in like 5 or 6 weeks. So that's it's been a change, but look, it's great now. Obviously with the modern technology as well, you can stay connected. Like this is like here now, but it's definitely been strange, I suppose, for us, for our family. I have a sister away in Australia as well, so it's probably difficult for her. But another of my sisters is in college in Holland, but she's thankfully is able to come home. Um, my oldest sister as well has just had a little baby girl, so probably not home as much as I could like to see her because you're probably extra cautious around her, or and I suppose I don't want to give it to anyone. If I was carrying it, to bring it back home to them.
and have you had a chance to meet the baby yet?
Oh, I have, yeah, I have. She was born in February, yeah.
Ah,
So I've seen her a few times, right? But yeah, not as much recently.
yeah, that's a shame. With the idea of continuing to train, and you don't know when you're going to go back, you don't know how much of a lead-in period. Do you kind of Is it a bit tough to actually go and even do any individual training because you don't know how hard to push yourself, you don't know if it's pointless, and then when you do go back, if you've been training hard for 3 or 4 months like this, you might have that fatigue mentally from doing it.
Mm. Yeah, no, that's definitely been a challenge. I'm sure it's for everyone, but I suppose like even if you weren't involved with Kerry or like you have to stay physically active some way. Like you're just like and there's only so many Netflix shows you can watch at home, so it's good to have a bit of a reason to get out of the house, as well. Um, like when this originally came, I think it was like the 12th of March. We were supposed to be back on the 29th of March. Obviously that's moved out since. The program we've had was probably, it was kind of quite a tough program. It was you were nearly max out of the runs. I suppose as this has unfolded, um, that's probably eased off as well because we know we're not getting back anytime soon within the next definitely 2 months anyway. So the intensity of it has dropped off, so it's more kind of a maintenance and just kind of keeping the body ticking over and getting it ready for when we start training. But I don't think it's feasible to stay championship fit all year round, so and I think our coaches have told us that, so it's good to have such experienced guys like we have, that they lay out the plan and you just do it, so that's the easiest thing.
And like I see someone tweeting about how, or maybe in an interview talking about how now's the time to work on your speed rather than maybe the endurance that you would in championship season. Is that something you've even looked into just yet?
Yeah, I saw that article actually. Yeah, it was interesting enough yeah, I think it was some one of the Dublin hurlers who mentioned it. It was interesting enough. Yeah, I suppose possibly. It's not something we've kind of been working on, but I suppose I'm thankful enough anyway that I just consider myself relatively quick, and so hopefully not work too hard.
Yeah, that wasn't a slight on your speed. When things like, the way later in the year that this talk of maybe playing behind closed doors, is that something? So you probably have a couple of different options. If we could go back to closed doors, I just don't know if that's even possible with amateur people living with their families. It's not like you could set up a cocoon camp like you might be able to do in professional sports. But in theory, would you like to play a closed doors championship rather than maybe playing two championships back to back, maybe later on in the year and into next year? I mean, it could go anyway, but just in theory.
It could go anyway. Yeah, for me, behind closed doors wouldn't be too much of an issue, because I suppose we train at Fitzroy Stadium. It's a huge stadium and when we're training, no one's there. So you're used to playing in big pitches like that, big stadiums, without any atmosphere. Any few challenge games we've played over the years has been the same. It's been behind closed doors. So from a player's perspective, I think that it wouldn't be a huge deal once the ball's thrown in. You try and blot out the crowd as much as possible. Now, is that feasible for? I don't think that's actually a runner to play behind closed doors. I suppose for the GA and for the people to not be able to go to the matches that they've been going to for their whole lives. I don't know, as a runner, playing two championships in one season, I suppose look, I suppose whatever's possible we'll do. Any football is probably better than no football, and I think everyone has agreed with that. I think when the GA finally does get back, that'll be the sure sign for Ireland as a nation, really, that things are going back to normal. So we've beaten this COVID-19 pandemic.
Does it cross your mind also that I think you've just turned 29? Am I right in saying that?
Correct,
and you're probably right in the peak of your powers at the moment. I mean, you were definitely in the conversation for Footballer of the Year last year. Is there a part of you that's a bit frustrated that now is the time when you can really make your impact?
Yeah, I suppose, but I suppose that has crossed my mind, right? Obviously, time is finite when you're playing top level sport, but I suppose you could make that argument for any age. You know what I mean? If you're trying to break into the scene and maybe you had a good couple of games in the first league, is that my chance gone? So there's no good time for it. I suppose there's probably people a few years older than me wondering, will they ever play? Have they been retired by this? So there's no good way about it. And I mean, if you can imagine back to when you were 15, 16, those young lads as well, they're just about, you couldn't imagine not playing sport at that age. So there's no good time for this to happen, I suppose.
That's true. Obviously you're in the hunt for an All-Ireland. That's obviously no secret. But I was just looking at your medal haul. You actually have an unbelievable medal haul at this stage. All-Ireland, Sigerson, 6 Munsters, National League. You pretty much have a clean sweep. If you were retired right now, you'd have a fair old haul.
Yeah, I don't really consider it that way. I don't really think so. I think you want to definitely, hopefully get one more anyway before I finish up.
Yeah,
so All Ireland, which is the real currency in Kerry.
How did you feel the league was going for you? Because you were in second position. It was in your own hands whether you got to the league final or not. Did you feel you'd made a couple of strides this year?
Yeah, I think so. I suppose we had a very good league campaign last year as well. Peter's first campaign last year, we topped the division and we ended up losing the league final. We've been relatively positive. I suppose we started off against Dublin with a cracker of a game, really a draw over Croke Park. So good performance from both sides. Played Galway the final week in Tralee. Probably, very lucky. Probably robbed them. Got a late goal to beat them by a point. But we saw what Galway have gone on to after. They've been probably the form team in the championship or in the league so far. So that makes that result look a bit better. Lost by Tyrone by points in a gale above above there. So we're definitely unlucky in that game. You could have gone either way. They had a few, I suppose, a boost to have Colin McShane back, so and they got a lift out of that. And we beating Killarney, then probably struggled enough in that performance, and we played Mayo then above, and another weather hit game. I suppose the game was pushed back from Saturday to Sunday, and we'd already shot up on the Friday. But good performance in that game as well. In the first half, especially, I suppose they came back at us, but we were able to get another 1 point win. And when you're getting those 1 point wins, it's it gives a bit of confidence to the team, So we're really looking forward to the Monaghan game that Sunday. And I remember that was the week that the whole thing was called off, and they were talking about the same conversation there, but behind closed doors. and look, that's just the way it happened. But it was a positive campaign, and hopefully when the J does resume, that we're able to finish off for the league campaign for us anyway. I suppose it'd be, a shame to leave those games go.
And how are you managing to fill the time at the moment?
It's difficult. Like I said, I'm probably lucky being able to come to work. Probably working a bit longer here. It's probably no rush to leave work in the evening. So you have your bits of training that you're doing, and just watching, like anyone else, playing a bit of PlayStation, watching Netflix, tuning to the Jordan documentary. I suppose a lot of people are watching that, the Last Dance on
It's
Netflix.
been unreal, hasn't it?
It's so good, yeah. It's so good. It's class to see what a competitor Jordan was, and did like each characters. I only got into the third episode now, but see like just Dennis Rodman there, like it's great to see those kind of characters. It's a pity we don't have too many. Any of those that's really in the J or not that kind of colour here anyway, but so just same as anyone really, just trying to stay busy.
Yeah, I know the way. Well, look, you've been very good for joining us. Thanks very much, Stephen, and I'm sure we'll chat again in the future.
So much, cheers, thanks so much, stay safe.